Hi, this is Erin, and welcome to Everything EFL, my little podcast about English language teaching and other teachy stuff too. Credit and honourable mentions will be given during the episode or in the show notes. Let's crack on. Oh, hello, you gorgeous teacher. Welcome to Everything EFL podcast. It's been, 2 weeks? What a 2 weeks it has been, let me tell you. But if you want to know more about what I've been getting up to, check out my Instagram, my Facebook. I was in French Guiana for a week. What an amazing experience that was. I was invited there to teach for a week. Sorry, very thirsty, guys. Hope you don't mind drinking a bit of tea. And I took loads of photos and videos. So keep an eye, like I said, on my social media. Keep an eye on my Instagram stories if you don't usually look on my stories, because there's definitely going to be more videos there, principally because I have to fiddle around with the aspect ratio to upload them onto posts. And do you know what? I can't be bothered. My eyes are in bits today. I've spent the last hour in front of the screen unsuccessfully trying to upload videos in the correct aspect ratio, and I'm done. So I'm putting them in my stories. So have a look there, or in my private Facebook group page. It seems to like the videos as they are there, so I'm going to be uploading them there as well. If you're not a member of my Facebook community, it's called Get Away From That Course Book. So have a look for it, and request to join, and I will gladly allow you in. I put a little bit more content in there. And I also post polls, and what else do I post? Exploring concepts together posts where I pose a question to you, and I would like you to answer it, because at the end of the day, guys, this isn't a one-way street. This group is not here just for me to disseminate information to you. It's a community, and I want to treat it like that. So, head on over there, and I'll see you there very soon, hopefully. Anyway, what are we doing today? Okay, we are talking about fast finishers. What do you do when the inevitable student or group of students finish just a little bit earlier than everybody else? You have to keep everyone busy. So what do? So I'm going to present to you a list here that has no extra worksheets on it, okay? This is not about throwing a photocopy at a student who's already finished something. Why on earth would they want an extra exercise to do? Let's make it a bit more interesting. Let's mix it up a little bit, okay? Provide something a bit more productive, interesting, and engaging. So I think it's 12, maybe 12 and a half points to give you, and they are in no particular order to keep those fast finishers occupied. So here we go. Number 12. If you've just done, let's say, a grammar exercise or a gap fill, just your run-of-the-mill, something in the course book, okay? How about a little bit of pronunciation practice? Can you get the students to underline the stressed words or the connections and practice saying them? If you maybe haven't sort of introduced this aspect of speech with your students, perhaps it's time you did. If you're not 1,000,000% sure about, the rules of sentence stress, look it up online. There's so many websites to help you out there. But, basically it's your words like your nouns, your verbs, your adjectives, your numbers, your names, your negative verbs. All of those things are the words that carry meaning. And it's just a nice little thing for them to do. And just from my experience, students latch on to any kind of pronunciation you do with them because it's something that doesn't get done enough. And it's something they're all interested in because, as you probably know, most students think that their pronunciation isn't very good. So give it a try. And also it might be something for you to learn as well if you're not 100% sure, like I said, about the sentence stress rules. Now, 12, let's say 12B, you could stay on the pronunciation train, if you like, and you could write, let's say, a list of emotions on the board. Even better if you have a dice, right? So you write 6 emotions on the board that correspond to the numbers on the dice, or die, never sure which one to say. And if, for example, the student throws a 3 and the emotion matching number 3 on the board is, joyous, they have to basically choose one of the sentences they finished and repeat it with that intonation. And, obviously this is more fun when you have 2 students or more that have finished because they can bounce off each other and have a giggle. Number 11. Do you ever use vocabulary cards? Now, I'm a big fan of this. So when my students learn new words or phrases, let's say phrases, you put them down on a bit of scrap paper. You put, what part of speech is it, the meaning, and an example sentence. Now, the higher level the students, the more able they will be to actually, just create the cards themselves. Now, if you get them in the habit of doing that, if they have finished and you've got a few words or phrases that you haven't created vocabulary cards for yet, throw them at the students. And then give them some instructions. Can you write down these 3 words? Use your dictionary if you like to write a definition and an example sentence there. Something like that. Keeping them busy and adding to your vocabulary list. Number 10. You could have some questions prepped so that if a couple of students finish, you can go over to them and just give them a random question to discuss. It doesn't have to be written down. You can just go to them and go, okay, discuss this question. And it could be literally anything. It could align with, the topic or the grammar point you're doing, or it could just be completely random. So examples that I've done before would be something like, what's the strangest food you've ever eaten? If you could go anywhere in the world right now, where would you go? Why does every country believe they are the best country in the world? Something a bit deeper. Number 9. If you can, scour charity shops, second-hand shops, or maybe eBay or any sort of second-hand websites, and try to start collecting little card games, debate cards. I've got a box full of things on cards that you can just throw at the students when they finish. In fact, I was saying in one of my videos that I have these little debate cards. It's just stupid things like, women are better drivers, discuss, debate. And one of my students at the moment, anytime he finishes early, he always goes, Erin. I say, yes. He goes, can we debate? I say, okay. And I throw the debate cards at him and his partner, and they very happily sit there for a couple of minutes and have a chat about something. It's great. And also never underestimate just that kind of, students love touching and manipulating things. So you could literally have anything on a piece of card and give it to them to play with, and they'd just get engaged immediately. Number 8. I often find with fast finishers, regardless of the level of strength, they will rarely get every single exercise correct, okay? If it's like a gap fill or something like that. So ask them, have you checked your work? Invariably, they'll say no. Okay, have a look. And then, have you checked with your partner? No? Okay, check with your partner. Now, hopefully you have them well trained to automatically do this. They should have the language of, have you finished? Shall we check together? Okay, that's really important that you teach your students that, so it's a little bit more automatic. And then once they've done that, if other people are still working, then give them something else to do. I've completely lost, I think it's 7. So invariably, the strongest students finish first. So why don't you get them to sort of assume a leadership role? Now, I've definitely talked about this before. If not on the podcast, then in my Facebook community. I think that leadership is really important with stronger students. It stops them from getting bored. It keeps them engaged and motivated. Everybody loves feeling a little bit like, I know a little bit more than this person, as long as they know that they have to kind of turn that into something helpful and supportive rather than, I'm sitting here because I'm better than you. we want to avoid that superiority complex. So, very simple. If they finish first, train them, look around the room. Read their body, who's looking a bit confused, who's not writing anything. Do you want to go and ask them? Do they need help? Again, teach them the phrases they need. Are you stuck? Do you need help? Are you finished? Do you want to check together? Is there anything I can help you with? There are a million little phrases like that they can use. So train your stronger students to take a supporting leadership role. Number 6. Does anything need taking off the walls? Collecting, distributing, wiping, picking up off the floor. Get the students to do it. You're moving around, looking authoritative, monitoring your students. You don't have time for that. Number 6. Or is it number 5 now? Do you know what? I've completely lost count. Who cares? These tips are golden. Okay, relax and go to your happy place. Okay, let me just start by describing my happy place, and then that might give you an idea of what I'm talking about. So my happy place, when I close my eyes and I want to de-stress, it's a beach. Okay, I can see my bare, tanned in this because it's my happy place, tanned legs stretching out in front of me, beautifully manicured nails, lovely shade of sort of, oxblood red. And the sand is pure white. And if I just, put my fingers in, it feels like powder. And I'm looking out at the sea and it's crystal clear. And I can, hear that beautiful, relaxing sound of the waves lapping on the shore. Just a few clouds. I can feel this gentle breeze on my body. Behind me, either side of me, are palm trees. Maybe I can hear a few birds singing, This is my happy place. Now, I ask my students to create a happy place for themselves so that when, you can use this in a variety of situations. When they are done with their work, they can close their eyes and go to their happy place and chill out and breathe. This is also really good for pre-test and pre-exam tasks, okay? If they're panicky, if they're stressed, get them breathing and get them going to their happy place. I'm just going to forget the numbers now and just give you the next one. Okay, next one is get up and stretch, okay? Maybe you can see that the other students aren't too far behind the finishers, don't have a huge amount of time to sort of set them up with anything. So just get them to stand up, move around, roll their shoulders, roll their necks, stretch up to the ceiling, shake out their legs, just something like that. Okay? Next one. And this is kind of a twist on number 9 or whatever it was. Can students maybe write questions for each other? Now, especially if they're higher level, why should you spend the time trying to think up a question? They can do it themselves. They can never have too much practice with question forms. And, I'm sure you guys try to mix up your students a little bit in the seating arrangements and the groups and the partners. So hopefully they're not working with the same person. And, maybe they don't know that person very well that they're working with. Do they have a question for them? Are they from completely different backgrounds or cultures? Maybe they can write a question about that to find out. Maybe they would just write down something they would like to share with their partner. Maybe, tell your partner something that they don't know about you. That's always a good one because it forces students to dig deep a little bit. You'd be amazed at what students actually divulge in these situations. And the last one, let's call it number 1, shall we? Can your students use mobile phones in the class or do they have tablets? If so, can they find a photo on their phone that they can talk about? So if you know they're way ahead, okay, maybe they can search for a photo. Give them a time limit of 20-30 seconds. And then they either have to talk about it or they can allow their partner to have a look at it. And then the partner has to ask questions. Who's this? What are you doing? Where are you? That kind of thing. I think that's a really nice, valuable thing to do because it's, again, students are sharing something of themselves and of their lives and they are choosing exactly what it is they want to share. So you're introducing that element of choice as well. Now, if you don't allow phones in the class, fair enough, you could do what is in your bag. Now, you might think, really? Books, pen? But you'd be amazed at what students have in their bags. In my class, we've had origami paper, which led to a really interesting discussion about the kinds of things they make. Hand warmers, these little hand warmers that you kind of shake inside the packet and they automatically heat up. Different spices from their country that they carry everywhere with them to put over their food. Key rings with photographs and sort of, reminders of their home. Little mementos, you just never know what they're going to pull out. And it always makes for interesting conversation. So, like I said, not an extra worksheet to be seen. I think we can all be a little bit more creative and inventive than that. Now, I think that most of the stuff I've mentioned will keep the students a little bit more engaged, rather than just sitting there waiting for everybody else to finish and letting that boredom set in. We do not want that. We want to avoid that at all costs. So I'm pretty sure that I've missed something. This is not a definitive list. It was only 11 or 12. I can't remember. I lost count. But I would love to know what kind of fast finisher activities you guys do. Now, all my information is in the show notes. Or if you're on Instagram, it's in my bio. I'd love to know what you do. Tell me what I missed. And to finish, I am going to set you a challenge. Choose at least one or two of the things that I have mentioned and incorporate them into your lesson plans for this week and try them out and decide what worked best with your students. What did they respond to the best? And what do you like? All right, well, I think that's it for this week. Like I said, keep an eye on my social media. I'm posting loads of interesting stuff at the moment. And get on over to my private Facebook group. So, as always, guys, look after yourself, have a peaceful week, and share the love. Bye.